And this goes for when you're entering caves or dungeons, or even things like inns. When you walk into an inn or a building, you don't get a loading screen, you don't get teleported to a whole new area. This area is part of the world. You just walk through the door and you start talking to people in the inn.
Go away, or I'll kill you.
And when you're finished, you walk out of the door, and the whole time you're in the same world, and it makes it feel, well, really connected. You never feel like you left the village when you enter the inn, because you can actually see what is going on through the window if you want to. All in all, the open world feeling I get from this game is not just a vast improvement on previous Witcher games, it is actually a vast improvement on the open world games I've played before. This game truly feels very open, and the game will not restrict you in your movement, at least not in general. It will not hold your hand. It will let you travel to places that will be way too tough for you to actually handle. And you'll also be discovering a lot of places if you do that. If you just travel and look around, you will probably discover so many little villages, so many little places, and so many little quests that you otherwise wouldn't. So the game kind of encourages you to explore at the same time as punishing you if you do it recklessly. Now, it's popular to say that graphics don't really matter when compared to gameplay, and this is true mostly. However, good graphics do help bring the right sort of atmosphere, and Wild Hunt does a great job graphically. The lighting is really well done, the effects are nice, and as I've already said, the scenery itself is, well, it lends itself to some great moments where you just want to look at the world around you and drink it all in. I didn't spend any time analysing the textures on objects or looking for distant objects and seeing if they popped into existence suddenly, but the fact that I didn't actually notice anything like that is a good sign. I never once saw something just magically appear, or at least if I did, it didn't register because I was looking at something else. I never saw a texture that I didn't believe. The entire experience just felt believable, and graphically, that's what is the most important thing. You want it to feel like a real world and not like a computer-generated game. So all round the game looked gorgeous. I was playing it on the highest settings except for one feature, which was the NVIDIA hair physics, and it looked great. The machine I was on was a top-of-the-range CPU, I think it was an i7, and it did use a single 980, but they didn't put SLI in. So either they've not quite optimized for SLI yet, or they wanted us to experience it on a single GPU. And I did, and the performance was fine. There were a few moments where I could feel the frame rate drop below 60, but it wasn't too bad, it wasn't too distracting. And I realised that's a fairly high-end machine, but this was playing on ultra settings except for this one thing. So it looks like the game's going to look good and perform well on a good rig. The NVIDIA physics was disabled. They told me they were trying to optimize it more, but it does have a big performance drop. However, when you enable it, I don't have any footage because I did this on the second day, but when you enable it, it looks great. Geralt's hair looks a little nicer, the horse's hair looks incredible, and if you have a trophy such as a griffin's head, it is amazing with that turned on, but it really does hit the performance massively. You do notice the difference when you turn it on, so when you turn it off you can see it doesn't look as good, but honestly it's one of those things that unless you have a